Hey, this is Ihab, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can apply an animated texture in Unreal. For those who have asked me for this tutorial a long time ago, I apologize for the delay, but to make it up to you, I'm going to feature more than just one option, meaning that I'm going to demonstrate how you can apply the animated texture, whether it's a video file or a sequence. On top of that, I'm going to also show you how you can integrate low resolution image sequence for processing efficiency. And additionally, I'm going to also touch on a few bugs you may face that might give you a heart attack. So in order for you not to have a panicking experience, I'm also going to touch on those points. And I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to break the process down step by step and timestamp everything so you can, anytime you want, jump to the point that you want. So you open Unreal and then you have these options as usual. So whatever you're making, it's really up to you. Let's say I'm gonna go with games. I just wanna make sure I click on the starter content, the underscore animated texture. Okay, I'm gonna start with blank. Go into the starter content. So these are the folders that you get. And what I need to do is to create a folder named movies, which is the typical folder naming convention for the folder that's going to carry your image sequence. So right mouse button, new folder, or you can just simply Control-Shift-N. So I'm going to name this movies. So from this step, I need to go into my computer exactly where this folder is located. And then I'm going to copy into it the materials that I want to use as animated texture. So how do I do that? If you are opening the starter content here on the left side, you can just click right mouse button on the movies and then click on show in Explorer. Or if you are here, you can do the same thing here by just clicking on movies and then the same thing. So now it's going to show me here what I have, and for that folder right now, since it's a new file, there's nothing going on here. All right, so this is the folder I want to copy the materials from, which is a video file that I'm going to be using, and also the image sequence, which is here. So I'm going to copy these two, Control-C, and going into the movies. Paste, and here they are. So I do have the video file, and I do have the image sequence. And again, I have both image sequence and the video file only because I want to demonstrate both approaches and not because you need both of them. So you can have either or. Almost immediately you would get this message here telling you that, hey, there are some content that were added into the folder. Do you want to import them? And you click don't import. It's not going to be a problem either way, but follow my lead and click don't. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to go into the folder and then copy the directory for that content, then minimize this window. Now I'm going to go right mouse button on that movies folder, but this time I'm going to click on add import content. And this is going to allow me to go into the media, then create image media source. Now I'm going to name it IMG image sequence, enter. And then I'm going to hit enter again or double click on it so I can go inside here and click on the sequence path. Remember, I copied the directory for the image sequence that I want. So I'm going to click here on the three dots and then go here just to double check and make sure that I have exactly the right folder for the content that I want to use. Now I'm going to go inside the image sequence because for the first demonstration, I'm going to be going with the image sequence. And I'm only going to click or choose one of them and hit open. So now this is what I have. I'm gonna click on advanced and there's something here called proxy override. This is a pro tip. You don't have to implement it, but if you really want to do things in the best way possible, you see where that folder of image sequence is? You go inside, you could ultimately create a folder of the same image sequence, but a lower resolution version of them. And then you can feed that as a proxy, which is going to allow a much more efficient processing of the texture, the animated texture for preview purposes. So if you want to use that as a proxy, you create the folder inside in here. So for instance, low res sequence. And then if you copy that in here, then you could utilize that sequence that has lower resolution. So how do I do that? It's very important to keep in mind that you need to be very careful about the directory and the naming for this step. As you can see here, the source path is the following. So for the proxy override, it's going to look for the name you're going to be typing in here, expecting that you do have a folder under that name within this directory. Meaning, let's say I do have a low resolution version of that texture. So I'm going to copy exactly that name, Control C, and I'm gonna go here and paste that, hit enter. Now, when it comes to the proxy override, it's gonna look for that low res sequence within that directory. So again, make sure you have exactly the precise naming, otherwise it's not gonna work out. So for this demonstration, I'm not gonna be using a low resolution sequence, but in case you wanna go with the pro approach of having a highly efficient proxy preview of the animated texture, this is the way to go. So with that said, again, I do have the directory and no proxy here. Once I'm done, I'm going to click save and I'm gonna close. So this is my animated texture. If I click on it, double click, as you can see, it doesn't show anything. So if I hit open, it does play. So the green area is what is being processed through the RAMs. And as you can see, it's playing smoothly. So just in case you were wondering what's with the green and the black. For the next step, I'm going to go into the movies folder. Go right mouse button and go into the add import content and also media, but this time I'm going to look for something different, which is going to be the media player. It's going to prompt you to this window. You click on video output media texture asset, hit OK, and I'm going to name this my texture player. And it's going to create this new edition here, which is going to name it also accordingly. So my next step is going to click on the TV. And in here, I want to check the loop so the video would play infinitely. Now, if you go here into the image sequence and double click on it, you should be able to see that texture that you have created. Now, if it doesn't play properly or if there's any issue, what you can do is right mouse button. Let's say, for instance, you mistype the name of the low resolution sequence or you put the wrong directory whatsoever. Right mouse button on the image sequence and then click on edit. And here you go back to that menu, you can make any changes, double check that everything's okay. Sometimes you could possibly, like for instance, put spacebar here and not knowing that you actually have a name here, and it could be a problem because it may try to read that directory, linking that proxy into the animation sequence. So if it gives you, let's say for instance, I'm going to try to just actually do this. Okay, I'm going to put some space here and hit save. Okay. Now, clicking on my sequence, there you go. Yes, the media failed to open. It's failing to open. There's a problem. Okay, so what I do is right mouse button, edit, and then I ensure that this is all clear. And then I hit save, close, double click again, double click, and it's playing. Terrific. Additionally, you can click on, after you play that image sequence, you can click on info and you can double check the information that you have here, whether like, are you playing off of the proxy or actually the actual sequence and whatsoever. Now, let's test what we have. I'm going to go into the place actors. And if you don't know where to get the place actors, since there has been some changes from previous versions, you can go to the window and then place actors. And now I'm going to go into the shapes, create a plane, going to rotate it, and I'm going to change the scale of it, details. So now I'm going to change the scale and match it in correlation to the aspect ratio of the animated texture that I have. So that's going to be 1920, so 1.92 to 0, then 1.080. My next step is going to drag this one, not the TV, but the one next to it, into that actor. Okay, so if I click play, nothing shows up. It's broken. I have scammed you. How dare I? Okay, so there is still more steps that I need to do. So hold your horses on that excitement. What I need to do now is to go to the blueprint. And to do so, I'm gonna click here and then go into the open level blueprint. Before you freak out, this is gonna be very simple. I mean, if I can do it, then definitely you can do it. All right, so I'll go into the variables, click on the plus. I'm gonna name this media player, hit OK, and you can see the name right here. So I'm going to change from Boolean to media player. Don't waste your time searching, you can just type in media player, and you want to click on this one, object type media player. It looks blue. Next, you need to choose something from the default value. So you look here, and you look here, you're not finding it. If you click on, or if you hover the mouse here over compile, you see that question mark. Now take a look here and then glance back at compile. I'm going to click compile and look what happens. It has created what we are actually looking for. So I'm going to go here and my texture player. Okay. So here's my media player now. It is connected properly. Here's the variable. So I'm going to click and hold control and move it over here. Next, I'm going to click right mouse button, play, event, begin, play. Next, I'm going to drag the node from here. I'm going to type in open source, open sesame. And then I'm going to take this and connect it in here. Then I'm going to go here and click and choose image sequence. Lastly, I'm gonna click compile, click save, then close. Okay, I'm gonna hit play, escape. As you can see, it's kind of going crazy. Before I show you what is going on, just gonna make sure it is properly oriented. Hit play. So you see what's going on in here in the ground. In some cases, you might not even find the ground below what's going on here. Like even this one, it might be completely gone. You don't want to have something like this, right? It's like, where am I? So what's happening is that Unreal is trying to be efficient and only showing what it believes, what you want to be included only and nothing else. So to fix this problem, you would just need to go and click on streamer. And I do have a dedicated video, very short video for that. But let me demonstrate for you how you can make that fix. Cancel the play now, window, world settings. And here on the right side, you see enable streaming. I'm gonna check this off and hit yes. And now when I hit play, here's F11 for full view. It's all there. Congratulations, you have an animated texture using an image sequence. All right, now I'm going to demonstrate the approach using a video file instead of image sequence.